I mean, we could start with just the website. Get into like maybe just an intro.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Just switch over the camera and see. It's just not as secure.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, it should do it. Whoops, or all that. Do you have anything for your story?
No, I mean, we can show the accent.
Well, you want to get that queued up. I couldn't get into the site. Vaccine map on it. So, hello to everyone online. We are going to wait a few more minutes to let people get connected, and then we'll begin. Thank you.
Who are we talking to? The online community. I hope so.
Oh, so we go lag. The lag won't be there for the quiz.
Not for the mentee.
It'll be there for the broad.
Right. So we won't see the results.
We'll see the results, but they won't see the results. For
It's just being live streamed. It's not a Zoom room also. But yeah.
So the live stream is the page for people that click the Zoom link. They'll be real.
So there will be people in the Zoom.
Yeah. And then the live stream is just on the page for Civic Action. From my understanding.
It's very bizarre time.
So as we're broadcasting, the Zoom won't be a delay, but there'll be a delay on the page, the web page for Civic Action. But people that registered and have the Zoom link, there won't. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how we handle timing on this.
Everybody's in the YouTube. That's how they're accessing this. So there's no Zoom audience.
Got it. So we'll just have to.
Take it slow.
Good.
See how it goes.
But once they're in there, they'll be able to look at the thing, give us feedback, questions.
Yeah, just So they won't see
The
the
results
results
on
and-
screen.
Mhm. That part.
So what we could do is just go with it best we can. Just take a look at the delay. We're gonna pretend like y'all are in the same room with us.
Or just add a data point to the dumpster fire. Not.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like everything's weird. Being at the office it feels like it's normal. Computer's weird because nothing's there. Installed and plugins for all the things that haven't been updated in a year. I like being there though.
Yeah, I was waiting there. for that.
It wasn't fighting the computer.
What do you start?
If I leave for a second, Bob.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, good afternoon to everyone online. My name is Alex Toner. I'm Assistant Director of Community Engagement in Pitt's Office of Engagement and Community Affairs, and welcome you to today's session with the with the Western PA Regional Data Center. As part of this year's Civic Action Week, the second annual Civic Action Week, presented by my office and the Office of Pitt Serves. Civic Action Week is designed to educate, engage, and encourage dialogue, deliberation, and disruption. This year is our theme around critical issue areas and persistent societal challenges in an effort to move us forward collectively towards action and solution and a deeper understanding of a lot of those issue areas and challenges. And so we've put together a week-long series of educational events, advocacy workshops, and direct service designed to better prepare us, enlighten us, engage us, and get us thinking about these challenges and the ways that we can move them forward. And so if you haven't taken a look at the full list of opportunities, please do. There's still plenty to sign up for and get involved. You can find that at pmad.doc.pitt.edu. Today, we're joined by my friends Liz Monk and Bob Gradick, again from WPRDC. And I'll say that it's a little strange. We are live streaming to you out there in the ether, and you are the audience, and we're here in the William Pitt Union. So we have someone monitoring the chat on YouTube, so please do drop any questions or issues that might come up in terms of the tech, and we will respond quickly. But right now we're going to get started, and I'll turn it over to Bob and Liz.
Hey, thanks. It's nice to be here, as weird as it is these days to be back in person at things for the first time in a while. But Liz and I are here at Pitt. We're part of the University Center for Social and Urban Research, and we are both involved with a project that's a collaboration with the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County called the Western Pennsylvania Regional Data Center. And what we're going to do today is show you a little bit about the kind of data that we have available for you and your work here at Pitt in the classroom or through research. Talk to you a bit about some of the stories that we've had where data has been used for action. And we'll also show you how you can get support and help and have your questions answered about civic data. So with that, are we ready to take it away, Liz?
Yes, so we are going to start with a little, as best we can, interactive piece.
And Alex, you need to play along. Yeah, because we know there's also a delay with the live feed. So we're just going to take it slow. And if there's a bit of a lag, that's something we know about and we can't fix it. So
if you want to go to menti.com and then use the code 56159630, which is on the screen and should be in the chat too.
yep, and that's menti.com. We'll give you a few bits to get in there. 56159630. And this will be fun. And so this will show you a little bit about some of the data that we have available through the project, and it'll be fun and you'll get to compete, and we'll see how this works. And so, ready to start? Everybody ready?
Mhm.
Oh, looks like we're okay.
All right, test question. One word to describe your day so far.
Stressful. Some stressful words on there, but also some good words.
That's a grateful word.
Yes, absolutely. So
Lazy, all right.
nice, honest answers.
I mean, that happens and it's okay.
I guess we could go ahead, right?
It does feel like a podcast.
It does.
Is this what podcasters feel like? Okay.
So what 3 words come to mind when you hear the term civic data? And we're not going to define it for you, but we want to hear what you think.
That's
So-
funny, I was gonna define it.
Oh, you can define
Well, I
it.
was just gonna say.
You can
sort of-
define it after.
Okay,
I don't know. We
all
can
right, no, we're
define
not
it
gonna define it. We're not gonna do it.
now. You can do it now if you want. I feel like I should play along too. Maybe
know, I
you could
want to
like
also.
do it. Yeah. Put in your definition there. You're right. Okay, we're starting to see him.
Great.
Yes. Meaningful, useful, helpful. Lazy. No. Some good answers up there. You're playing along too from the podium here. We'll give it just along for long enough for Liz to plug her answers in. So. So you see lots of answers there. So how did you define civic data, Liz?
Well, I put in the words community, local, and potential. But I like to think that civic data is kind of fuzzy, so
Mhm.
when you think of how you define it, there isn't like a set way, but data that is about the community or used for community purposes. I
Yep.
say the word community a lot, so I usually use the word community data.
Yeah, and I always think of it as like it could be also, it doesn't have to be open and available to everybody. It can just be data that tells something about the community that could involve sensitive information. So like civic data to me is like a big catch-all. So it's nice to see other people's definitions here too.
So if you do, where do you currently go for civic data? If you are looking for neighborhood information, community information,
Whether it's for a class project or for an internship,
art project,
art project,
storytelling event,
because you're just bored and surfing the internet.
you want to know what happened down the street.
Yep. Or you're trying to put together answers for trivia contests like we're going to play in a second. So where do you go? Lots of places to go. Good news.
Oh, that's interesting. Mhm.
Googled. Library, good answer.
JS question.
Mhm. Nice. Family members.
Trusted source, maybe?
Yeah. So get your last answers in. We want to hear more about where you go. p.gov. All been there for the last year and a half. Very nice. We'll give you about 10 seconds. So again, just acknowledging that we know there's a delay in the live feed. So we'll just kind of play it like there's an audience in the room, and you will be able to get your answers in. So here we go. So this is a competitive quiz, and we want to see how much you know about data in your community. And so we're working here with data about Oakland or the city of Pittsburgh, or county. And a lot of this data, or all this data, actually comes from our project, the Western Pennsylvania Regional Data Center. So you can take a look and see the kind of data that's here. So the way the game is played, you get the most points for a fast and correct answer. You don't get any points if your answer is wrong and you're fast. If you're slow, but your answer is right, you still get points, but not as many points as if you were really fast. Make sense? All right. So you're going to see these pop up on your phone or your computer. Be quick. Good luck. So it looks like we got some players in the room. That's great. Each of you will have a little avatar, and hopefully one of you will have bragging rights at the end of this. We'll alternate questions. How's that? All right, first question. Which of the following Oakland restaurants was not cited for a pest management food safety violation by the health department 2019 to 2021? Peace World Crepe Kiosk, sorry. Viva Los Tacos, Salud Juicery, Pit Eats, Litchfield Tower A, and Subway on Forbes. Time's up.
That's fast.
Yeah. Subway on Forbes was the only one in the data that we get from the county health department. So yeah, really interesting to see what people think about cleanliness and how it aligns with the data that we have. Your turn on this one, Liz.
Okay, first I think, do we see the leaderboard?
Yes, we do. None of you got it right.
All right, tied.
You're all losers, but there's still time.
All right, how many crashes involved a bicycle in Allegheny County in 2020?
Your answer is 24, 49, 201, 306. Your time, 4 seconds left.
All right, some people got it correct.
That data comes from the state. And there's lots of detail to that one. Location of the crash, types of vehicles, time of day, weather conditions, alcohol, was it a factor, all sorts of stuff like that. So you can,
Seatbelts. Yeah,
seat belts, very good, yeah.
very good. And it goes back a ways too.
Yeah, we have it going back close to 20 years. So if you're looking for a time series data set for a class project, it's a great one to use. All right, next question, 3 of 8. Self-time to redeem yourself. Which celebrity does not have a dog named after them in the 2021 Allegheny County dog license data? Is it Billie Eilish, Sidney Crosby, Mr. Rogers, Dolly Parton, Brad Pitt, or Miss Piggy? Which one does not have a dog named after them in this data set? One of my favorite data sets, by the way. Time's up. We'll see who got it right. Oh, looks like 2 of you got it right. So that there is a dog named Sidney Crosby, but there's also a dog named Sidney Posby. which is really good. So you can see how the leaderboard has changed here. We'll see if anybody jumps out in front. So Bodie McBoatface, 2 for 2, 2 for 3, I guess.
Very fast.
Yes. And so, yeah.
Boy.
Doing this for the kids out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, how about that? Was it?
All right, so far this year through September 20th, how many times did someone contact City 311 to complain about a couch on porch? So 311 is the non-emergency helpline of the city. You can make a request or complain.
Yep. 72 complaints. So it's illegal to have upholstered furniture on your front porch. It attracts mold, rodents. So you shouldn't do that. Plus, it's also a fire hazard. And I think the city will actually come and take your couch. You can claim it if you want to admit to having a couch like that on your porch, but
Will they come but give you a ticket?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't do it. So let's see who got it right here. So Nicholas, Alex,
Alex.
and Raven. But you still haven't caught Bodie McBoatface
Bodie
yet.
McBoatface is
Yeah.
here to play.
Absolutely. And so about half of those complaints actually relate to Oakland. So Oakland is definitely the epicenter of Pittsburgh couch on porch culture. So about 30 or so complaints in just Central and South Oakland alone.
For 2021.
Yes. Means love your couches or couches. Question 5 of 8. I think this is another 311 question. I could be wrong. So as of today, other than downtown, which neighborhood had the most complaints about spin scooters, those things that are everywhere these days? North Oakland, Bloomfield, Central, North Side, or Shady Side? Which of these 4 neighborhoods had most complaints next to downtown? 4 seconds. It's a tough one, and none of you got it right. Bloomfield is the correct answer. And here's the standings where none of you will get it right. You will see that the bars will not move. You have all failed in
Wow.
your civic data knowledge. However, there's still time.
And good job trying.
Yes, absolutely. And so this is just a table of like the top 10 or so neighborhoods with the most complaints. We get this data every 5 minutes, so you can see this data change in real time. You might even call to complain about one of these things, and you'll see it show up in the data just a few minutes later. We have a
I think we
leaderboard.
may have had a double leaderboard.
Okay. Oh, we missed the, this is the question for the
Away.
plumbing question.
Did I miss it?
No, it should be there. Okay.
All right, the county registers all master plumbers. About how many of the 1,378 plumbers in the 2020 data seemed to have a woman's name?
Yes. The choice is 10, 37, 42, 56.
So
Yeah.
4 people got that one.
Yeah, only 10, it seemed. So we'll see how the leaderboard changes. I don't know if Bodie McBoatface is going to hold on after this question.
Uh-oh. Nico
Wow.
Laus.
Very nice. So if you're a student and you're working on things like data science, you could use a data set like this to really look at, can you fill in missing values in a data set using some statistical or data science tools and impute, gender based on the first and last names in this, or first names in this data set. So just kind of bringing this data into your classroom experience could be pretty interesting. Question 7 of 8, still a little time to catch, but you got to answer fast. 'Cause that's how you get the most points. So what type of street tree is the most prevalent in Pittsburgh? Is it a pin oak, a Norway maple, a Callery pear, a stump, or a ginkgo? And this is from the shade tree database that the city shares. So one of you got it right. I think from the reaction in the room here, I think I know who that is.
It was the maple, the pin oak was a close second.
And if you want to know what a Norway maple looks like, I'll tell you in a second. All right, so let's see if we have a change in the leaderboard here. Alex, very
Looks
good.
up.
Oh, one question left to hold the lead. And so if you wanted to see, there are a number of tools on our website. One of the tools is a map that the city created from this data. And right outside on the Fifth Avenue side of the student union here, there's a Norway maple. So if you wanted to see what one looks like, just go out toward Fifth Avenue, look for a tree, and you'll find it. That's it. This is it. The deal breaker.
In the city of Pittsburgh, how many dumpster fires have been reported in 2021?
The tension is palpable here in the room.
7, 27, 53, or 102?
27 dumpster fires.
Wow. Well, Alex, congrats.
Alex is the winner. Way to go. And so you can see we made a map of dumpster fires. It's completely interactive. And if you click on any of the points, the same dumpster fire GIF shows up
No.
on top of the data. So
Dumpster catches fire if you.
yes.
No.
So actually that's a category in the city's data. So if you wanted to have fun with data, make a map of dumpster fires. So thanks for playing, everybody. Now in the more serious part of our presentation. Okay. So we're going to actually now show you how to find some data on our website. And there are a lot of data sets. We have over 330 data sets from 20 different organizations or more. And we're going to just show you the basics. So this is our homepage, wprdc.org. And you can see that there is a lot of detail here. We have an events calendar, microphone, just to scroll down through the screen here. So we have an events calendar. We actually do have virtual office hours and several other events we'll show you. But what I'm going to show you the basics of is just really how to find data. And the easiest way to do that is to use a keyword search. Upper right corner, you'll see that we have the ability to like type in any kind of keyword. And so we have it set up now to look for a data set. One of our newest data sets came in from the Pittsburgh Public Schools. And a lot of you might want to use this data in your own civic action. You know, a lot of you are working on projects related to education. And so, grab this so I don't have to reach. And so the way that our site works is, you know, I searched and now I have a list of data sets that match that search result. And you can see what we have here. And if you click on the first one, we're just going to take a look at what a data set looks like on our site. And so you'll see the publishing organization on the left side, Pittsburgh Public Schools, descriptions about what's included in this data. And then you can see a number of different resources. In this case, these are all CSV tables, really spreadsheet compatible file formats. And so one of the data sets that you might find useful in your work is enrollment by school and neighborhood. And so you can either click on this link to view it on screen, or on the previous page, there's a link that said download, and here on this page, it says go to resource. What that would do is open it in a spreadsheet for you, download it to your computer. But you can see this data set is just really 4 columns. There's an ID. Not trouble, am I? Okay. Neighborhood, school name, and then the number of students. So what this data set tells you is how many kids in the Pittsburgh public school system live in each neighborhood and what school they go to. As long as the number of students is 10 or greater, we're able to report the totals. So you could see if you're interested in doing community partnerships in Allentown with a project that you might be working on here at Pitt, you can see that, you know, key schools for you to do some outreach to would be Grandview, South Hill 6 to 8, Carrick, Carmel, and Obama. So that's just like one way to use a data set here. And just to jump back one more page, there's another data set that I'll show you how to download. Jump back up to the data set itself. And this is data that has information about individualized education plans, you know, for gifted or students that have, you know, learning needs that school districts have to accommodate. And so you could see this data here by race. If I want to download that to my computer, just hit the word download and that will come in. Download at the bottom. I'm not sure quite how our screen share setup is here. So I'm not going to go ahead and open that, but those are just some different ways that you could start to look at this data. One other thing on our website that you can look for is our tools menu. And we have a number of different tools here that you can use and look at. And I'm just going to walk you through a few that we've set up. So since the pandemic started, we've been doing a lot of work related to COVID and the vaccine. And one of the things we were able to really get together is a lot of data about the pandemic itself. And we work a lot with a lot of multi-sector coalitions like the Black Equity Coalition that we've been part of. And what we've done is we've worked with the county to actually publish the updated case data and the testing data every night or every afternoon. So if you wanted to see how the pandemic is progressing, how things are captured in the data, we have a lot of details. So you can scroll through. These data sets are very large and they're really instrumental in helping people understand this. So we have a data guide that describes, you know, why you might see things show up in the data, like why death records, for example, aren't captured in real time. There might be even a month lag on some of those records. But you can see that there's a lot of detail here. So if you're looking for large data sets to work with in your class, this one is probably pretty big, but it's opening. I'm not going to try to download this, but you can see like we have data on every test that for COVID in Allegheny County. So you can see the result of the test, the status of that test, and details about that person, whether they've been hospitalized, age, race and gender. And a lot of this data that's disaggregated by race and gender is really important for a lot of the health equity work that we've been working on to support. And this is just one example of the way that this data is visualized. So through the Black Equity Coalition, our partners up the road at the Create Lab at Carnegie Mellon built this dashboard, working with a lot of the partners in the meetings to be able to visualize this data and start to share it with policymakers. And so as this data updates, it shows up on this dashboard, which you can find on our tools menu. So you can take a look at things like hospitalizations and cases over time per week by race. You could look at tests and hospitalizations. And so there's a lot of data here. We can even look at case maps. And so this is all thanks to the partnership that we have in Allegheny County with the county. So the health department actually publishes data directly to our website if you wanted to see it. So once we started to get a sense of what the pandemic was like, we started to work with our coalition partners and really start to get prepared for vaccines and vaccine data. And so one of the things that we were able to do is draft a report for the state where we really wanted to make it clear that we needed access to local level data disaggregated by race on vaccinations. And so working with the BEC, we were one of the many authors on the Missing the Shot report. And that was really just making the case for why we need this data to really keep people safe and track vaccination progress, planning events, things like that. And so all that pressure, the states started to release data about a month and a half, 2 months ago at the zip code level for vaccinations. And we put this basic map together. So if you wanted to see, for example, vaccination rates in different communities, and this map is really focused on the Black population in Allegheny County and all across the state of Pennsylvania, except for Philadelphia County, which has its own health department. So this is the kind of work we do. We help to make this data available, help to build tools, and work with people that get value from it, whether it's for changing policy or taking action in communities. And so that's just one of the stories that we have here. And let's talk about some other work that she's been involved with.
So last year, so for the census 2020, we worked with the Complete Count Committee to create this asset map focused on gathering data related to assets in the county to help support outreach related to census 2020. So this is data that could include grocery stores, faith-based facilities, schools, and trying to get that all aggregated into one place where people could use it. We noticed also that there are a lot of asset-based frameworks, and which is great, but a lot of people were doing similar work trying to get the data together at the first pass of it. So we're building this as a way to help relieve that work for others, hopefully. So this is a tool that's available, and then also it links to the data. So if that would be useful for you in your classes or outreach projects or research, that is available through this. One of our favorite assets is the library, and we've done a lot of work with them, partnering with them, looking at what is the role of the library with civic data. We have a project with the public library and Hillman here at Pitt, funded through the Institute of Museum and Library Services that has funded projects across the country looking at that. And then also just partnering with the public library to do data literacy trainings. So while we have this site with a ton of data, as you're seeing, so much available, but how we can get more people feeling comfortable and confident in using it is a big goal of the project.
Yeah, and ways that you could find those type of events would be on our events calendar. I'm just going to jump back to our site here. And either from the front page, you can access it. On the events calendar, there's a link at the top. You can also just click the event from our front page. And so we list events that we host, but also events that are really interesting, whether they're here on campus or out in the community. So if you wanted to see, what was out there that you could participate in, we try to capture those. And so right now we have a lot of year-end data and society efforts that Liz is involved with the selection or with the planning committee on. So you can see that we've got some great talks coming up around data and how it relates to identity and what's captured in data and power structures.
Or what's not collected.
What's not collected as well.
I was just going to say, we're also interested in partnering in multiple ways, both with outreach and community groups or research projects. So always open and absolutely willing to get in touch and have conversations.
One of the ways that you can do that too is reaching out to us through our virtual office hours. So most Fridays at 3, our whole team is available to answer questions. So we've got people on the call that can provide support with programming and software development. So if you have questions related to that, we have people that can help you answer them. If you want to talk about projects or events or activities or collaborations, we're also there to do that too. So
Or just come by and meet us.
come by and say hi. Yeah. Send us a note to wprdc@pitt.edu if you're planning to come, not necessarily to do that, but that just helps us understand a little bit more about like where we might need to allocate people's time, and we might give you a time to call in just to make sure that you can get full attention from us. So with that, do we have any questions?
No. Any questions?
Do you have a favorite data set, Liz?
Do I have a favorite data set? I think it's tagged with neighborhood.
Sleep.
What university? I think my favorite data set is right now 311.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
I
Do
just feel like you can see a lot.
you have a favorite activity or category in there?
No, I'm gonna think about that. Yes.
That's a really good question, and I'm not sure if I have the answer to that.
What's the student portal? Like through the My Pit? No, I don't think you can. So it's wprdc.org. But that's a really good suggestion as a way to get it.
Yeah, because we always want to know like how to put this out there in front of more people, especially students, and just any suggestions anybody wants to offer, we're all for it. Oh, sure. Who starts?
You start. You can start.
Okay, so I was in graduate school, or actually, went to Pitt undergrad for urban studies, and from there went on to city planning school, and just started to encounter this, starting in my classes here at Pitt, learning about the census, and then in grad school, starting to work with spreadsheets and computers and working with communities. And so came back to Pittsburgh, and it was just stuff that the kind of work I really like to do. And so when there was an opportunity to kind of engage the city in, even before this, like 10 years ago, we were doing a lot of work to answer questions about vacant property and who owns what property, and helping people in communities figure out exactly how to plan their neighborhoods. And then that kind of took the next step in this collaboration we have with the city and the county around civic data. And so that was kind of how I fell into it, just like working through classes and internships and just finding ways to continue to work on that.
And I would say I was all over the place, and I've had a lot of community-based jobs, working at Boys and Girls Clubs. I lived and worked on an organic farm. I volunteered in the Peace Corps. And when I returned from the Peace Corps, I wanted to come back to school for more technical skill. And so I got my master's in GIS, Geographic Information Systems, out of geology here at Pitt in 2015. And then I started working at Uxer. And I think it's been a really nice combination of my interests, kind of the best possible outcome. The podcast.
Calming voices. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. What could we do? What would the topic be this week in civic data?
We could pick a data set every week.
I could like, yeah, we could do something with it. Like, it would be fun to pick a data set. I would pick, my new favorite data set, just with the work on the asset map, is data on barbershops, nail salons, and hair salons, because there's like tons of puns in that. We could do a story on puns in data for a podcast.
I mean, you can do that, yeah. And I'll-
All right. That's a good question too. I think there are probably a number of organizations, like if you're interested in data collection, I would say partnering with local organizations. I know we've been involved with things out in Homewood to collect data about properties and property conditions, and that data was useful in that effort. Like, that was one area. One annual, I'm gonna go here. This, look out. So this is one that if you're looking to kind of just get your feet wet in a fun project, scrolling through our tools, I put this at the bottom because it's not the right time of year for this. But every spring, a group of volunteers comes together, organized through a group called Code for Pittsburgh, and they update Pittsburgh's Lenten fish fry map. And so if you wanted to get involved, like last 2 years, it was virtual. It's just a neat way to see how this all works and talk to people that have kind of worked on these kind of things. So you could do the very local, do things in my neighborhood. You could do something like this. You could even just start to work with the data and put things out on social media, on a blog post, and just kind of see how that engages people too.
Or you could just, I mean, my thought is you can just start to play around and get
Yeah.
comfortable. You don't, I mean, you are welcome to post it, but you just for yourself. And then, I mean, getting involved with organizations, I think it can be of use across the spectrum of
Mhm.
different types of organizations and your local community groups.
And even if you don't know what communities you have to plug into, I think like your library can be a nice place to connect to. So if it's talking to a librarian about like, can I do something to support civic engagement by making a poster, handouts, whatever, related to an issue, that could be something interesting too. Oh, and one more thing for the PID audience, we also will visit your class and talk about civic data and do a guest lecture too. So if you want
With
to,
very calm voices.
yes, the most calming voices.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't love social media, but you want to speak to Twitter?
Oh, yeah, it's gotten pretty terrible in some ways because social media is just what social media has become these days. But I think like where you can look for examples of how social media can be useful in amplifying a message could be around the pandemic. And, you know, you see these daily reports come out and case counts. And, you know, while people are using this data for disinformation, you know, a lot of people are using it just to share information about what's happening. And so you see like, you know, sites like ours, which try to really publish administrative data, but you also see things like Nextdoor and a lot of other websites where you kind of have to be a good consumer and cut through a lot of the information that might not be quite accurate. And so like, I think there's a role for this kind of data in social media. It's just really tough to know. I think it's up to people to do it like on their own, be good, be data literate, know how to use technology to pull data, be skeptical of things that people are telling you. Not that this is necessarily always capturing everything there is, because we know with power structures, things are missing from data. Data is never collected that should be collected. But I think like the thing that people could do is be good consumers using data to verify things or refute arguments that other people might be making. But I think like also there can be fun in data too. And I think that's an area where people could also do things like this fish fry map or playing with the puns in a barbershop name. Just I don't know.
And then we're also interested in like expanding towards like art, data and art and
Mhm.
how to engage people through art and storytelling and data also. So I think there is, I mean, social media can be helpful in spreading that and sharing that, but can be harmful, like a lot of things.
Yep.
Well, we have a very small in-person audience, but we will thank Bob and Liz, and I hope that you all do the same. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Please do reach out to them like they said. If you're able to later in person or via the same live stream on the Student Affairs YouTube, please join us at 4 for the community keynote with panelists from Neighborhood Allies, One Hood Media, and others tonight at 4. And the rest of the week with many, many different sessions that hopefully leave you feeling empowered to go about being a change agent. Thank you. Have a good day and enjoy. What?
Congratulations, you won.
Oh, I won. Yes, I am Alex and I won trivia. So that makes me feel good. I was also the person who put stressful on there. So I'm a little less stressed because I feel like a winner now. So have a great day. Join us the rest of the week in Civic Action Week and take care.
Great, Alex, I'm surprised.
I didn't recognize him when I walked.
Bob was like, who am I talking to?
Because you were just on this little box. I'm like, is that Alex? I don't know.